Okay. Well, thank you all for joining the TBLI Spotlight interview with one of our superheroes who is a member of the TBLI Circle, Ady Beitler, who I've known actually not that long, a relatively short time, as is probably one of the most incredible social entrepreneurs that I've ever met, having built an incredible organization. But I don't want to tell too much about it. I'd prefer that Ady sings his own horn. So, Ady, thank you so much for doing this. And for those who are not familiar with yourself, or Nilus, why don't you tell us your journey, your big purpose? What are you trying to do? What are the challenges you face, and ultimately how we all can help you? Ady? Eh? Ady? Froze. Let me see what's going on here. Uh,
Thank you so much, Robert. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure. But
no,
first, uh,
let's see. Let's see if this helps. No, it's not
this,
better. Breaking up a lot. You want to try to
okay,
reload?
but
Welcome everyone to TBLI, for our spotlight interview of one of the TBLI Circle members, the brilliant Ady Beitler, one of the most successful social entrepreneurs in Latin America. I was incredibly impressed meeting him this year. Ady, for those that are not familiar with you and Nilus, what you're trying to do, please tell us who you are, what your background is. Tell us your big purpose and the journey that you've been on, and how can we help you?
absolutely. So thank you, Robert. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the opportunity um, to let you know more about our work. We are impact-driven, a social enterprise that seeks to address one of the probably two most acute problems that the world faces today, which is hunger, food insecurity. I was raised in Uruguay, in South America. I'm the grandchild of Jewish immigrants from Poland. Um, and I guess I grew up uh, with a sense of injustice and social activism in my home. And since very little, I started doing social projects on my own up until the moment when I came of age to go to college. I first finished high school in Kentucky in the United States and did uh, some time in Minnesota.
It's stopped again. Uh, this is weird.
It seems to be working.
Yeah, it stopped for a second, but now you're back.
So you want to edit it, or
We can
I don't
edit
know?
that out. It's not a problem.
Okay. Uh, we're saying um, I grew up uh, with a socially driven mind and heart. Uh, and I then went to school in the United States, first high school in Minnesota, then during my college years. Uh, and then I moved to Massachusetts to do grad school at Harvard Law School, always with a social objective in me to do meaningful work that would make a difference in the lives of people who, like my grandparents, were hit hard by injustice, randomness, and unfairness. So after I graduated, I began working in Haiti, in the Caribbean. In 2010, there was a. Can you hear me, Robert?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely.
Okay. In Haiti, where there was a massive earthquake that killed over 350,000 people in less than 6 minutes. I thought, okay, this is what I've been looking for. This is my calling. I'll just go and see what I can contribute. So I began working for the Inter-American Development Bank in a project in association with the Clinton Foundation. We began building the investment community in Haiti around humanitarian resilience and first response. And I worked there from 2010 to 2013. I learned a lot, of course, from humanitarian organization to economic development. But the thing that's stuck with me the most was how going to the supermarket was more expensive in Haiti than it was in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The price of groceries was more expensive in a place where people earn, on average, $800 a year. It's the fifth poorest country in the world. And it was still more expensive than here, where the difference is abysmal. So I began studying and focusing on the food supply chain. What determines prices of groceries, particularly in low-income areas or communities? As a project manager at the Inter-American Development Bank, working on trade projects, I began getting myself familiarized with what's called the reality of food deserts. And I discovered that there are over 200 million people in Latin America alone, 2 billion all over the world, that overpay for groceries and are poor at the same time.
My goodness.
The rationale has to do mostly with the absence of supermarkets. Like, you know, groceries are going to be more expensive in a low-income community. If in that community there isn't a supermarket within a mile radius. And that's what the Food and Drug Administration in the basically, there are no in many, particularly colloquial slums or human settlements or informal settlements, because many times you cannot rent property in many parts of the slums in India, Brazil, Colombia. You just don't have title to land in these places. So a supermarket cannot even start with renting the place. On top of that, it's dangerous. It's normally more dangerous because, unfortunately, there is a relationship between income levels and crime. And so they need to spend more money in security, safety. Also, the suppliers will charge the supermarkets more for delivering there. because the roads many times aren't paved, they're not on Google Maps, it takes longer to maneuver. So everything that can go wrong, it's a perfect cocktail of Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong when it comes to the prices of staples in low-income communities. That's the problem we're trying to solve at Nilus. We said, okay, somebody's got to do something. And so we decided to first do it as an NGO. We incorporated a nonprofit because that's how people used to do it anyway. Food banks and philanthropic organizations of all sorts that are fighting food insecurity. But because we started in Argentina, the nonprofit model didn't work because the economy is so informal that there are no incentives for companies to donate money or donate the time of volunteers or food because nobody offsets taxes because it's just complicated or the systems aren't there. So building a nonprofit in Latin America is an endeavor that while possible, of course, it's very, very difficult, almost impossible to scale. And our ambition was to reach 200 million Latin Americans. So we said, no, we need to professionalize this. We cannot rely on donations because sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. We cannot rely on volunteers because sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't, and there's nothing you can do about it. Why don't we build something that's professional and scalable? So we incorporated a company that would solve the problem of high prices of food in low-income communities by solving the root cause. And as we said at the beginning, if what defines a food desert is the absence of a supermarket, then the reason why the prices are high in food deserts has to do with the lack of coordination and purchasing power of the corner stores and convenience stores that are in the community. When you move from one big player with big purchasing power that is able to bring costs down for consumers to convenience stores that most of the times are informal and probably not as professionalized as a AAA supply chain team like, I don't know, Walmart, then all those inefficiencies and lack of access to credit and lack of volume is translated into higher prices for consumers. So we said, okay, let's build a Class A logistics operation that is able to emulate the purchasing power and professionalism of a supermarket without the need to invest in building stores all over the place, because that's just going to be impossible to do because supermarkets haven't done it. So let's just leverage technology. So we set out to do a company that would address the problem of high prices in food deserts by purchasing power of convenience, purchasing power of supermarkets. And that's when we built the technology that already existed. Many of us were used to crowdsourcing, I don't know, concert tickets on Groupon or experiences where we needed to get 10, 15 people to complete the offer and receive it. Or a community group buying in China has been growing for decades now, and it's produced unicorns the size of Pinduoduo of $60 billion market cap. So it's a practice that exists, and it existed for years, centuries actually, in places like Switzerland, when one villager would go down to the valley from the mountains to buy groceries, and the rest would say, "Hey, let's bring the groceries
Mm.
for the whole village, and we all chip in money. It's a practice that's been there forever. We apply technology to it to allow convenience stores owners to gather demand from a ton of people at the same time to be able to, sorry, it's my dog.
Yeah, it's okay. I like dogs.
Um, we were saying we were developing technology that would allow um, uh, consumers to aggregate their demand to access volume discounts in the same way that a supermarket. So that's what our application does. It crowdsources grocery shopping for thousands of people in one specific community. Now we operate in Mexico City and in Buenos Aires, in the two largest metro areas in Latin America. And we manage the logistics by delivering the products once or twice a week in pickup points, say the church or the school gym or the home of community leaders that they use as the consumers use as pickup points. They go pick up the products, they pay the community leader many times with cash, and then the community leader pays us back 3-4 days after the purchase has been closed. So we are combining crowdsourcing technology with microfinance kinds of financial dynamics, whereby one customer doesn't pay, we close the shop for the entire community. And with that, we've been able to build a business that today saves customers 20 to 25% on their grocery shopping weekly, which has been proven to increase their consumption of healthy food, increase the amount of food they buy, and all of that while empowering community leaders who are mostly women in the community with a commission on every sale that we complete. So it's a huge impact that we're very proud of. That's been also recognized by the UN World Food Program, where we are members of the United Nations World Food Program's Innovation Accelerator, as well as the World Economic Forum that awarded us Social Innovation of the Year in 2023. We are now at a stage where we're serving around 25,000 families per week,
Wow.
which means over 100,000 people. We are growing, expanding across Mexico and Argentina, and hopefully by the end of this year, the company will reach its first big milestone, which is hitting profitability and being probably one of the first cases in Latin America. And I wonder if globally that a business that's built to do you tackle the problem of food security makes it. So we're very excited and hopeful that the rest is about to happen.
What has been the greatest challenge? I mean, obviously all startups have lots of challenges, money, logistics, understanding what works, what doesn't work, reliable staff, etc., and finding community leaders. What has been your biggest challenge in getting this? Because you've also, as far as I remember, you raised quite a bit of money. You were able to convince a lot of people to support this initiative. So, what do you think has been the greatest challenge or the greatest frustration?
Well, it's a very difficult business, very difficult. As you notice, it's heavy in logistics. And in areas where, again, the streets don't have names, and it's dangerous. So how in the world do you find the places you need to deliver?
Yeah.
Uh, and they can't pay you with credit card because they don't have. so they can pay you in advance, like every delivery app does in the world. Nope. So it's just so full of challenges in the execution that that's why it took us years, I would say at least 5, and over $20 million raised.
Wow.
Uh, does it make sense? I don't know. People say you raise too much money. I'm like, sure, but we've been trying to solve hunger. I don't know. I think the first guy who build an organization to fight it was probably Jesus. So it's that old, um, and we haven't cracked it. So and we probably spent more than $20 million attempting it. So I think that the greatest challenge is the difficulty of the problem, and the way we've been able to uh, 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 garner support from investors has been mostly because we're so close, and we're the and it seems to be working, you know. So it's not about it. Most of our good investors are not uh, speculative investors who just throw a check and see if that turns into a $1 billion investment. They are people who, for some reason, have a moral, emotional connection with the cause and are just excited to see that there is an organization that's getting very close to solving it. At least it doesn't mean we're going to feed the entire world, but it will mean if we make it, it'll mean that we have been able to develop a blueprint, a methodology on how you address the disparity of prices. It's called the poverty tax, the extra uh, cost that low-income people pay to buy groceries. Here's a blueprint of an organization actually tackling the problem without asking the government to solve it. It's pretty powerful.
And so you have close to 100,000 people that are benefiting from this, 25,000 customers. But you, as far as I remember, your ambitions are quite grand. I mean,
Yes.
you're not looking to stop with 25,000 families.
No, no. So our ambition is to uh, at least uh, take 5% of the available market or the serviceable market in Latin America, which would mean uh, uh, at least 10 million families per week.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, Look,
As a for-profit, right? You're not a
yeah,
non-profit. Maybe you're now a
yeah.
non-boss, but your ambition is to be a for-profit.
My ambition is to build a successful blueprint to address food insecurity in a financially sustainable way.
Mm.
My ambition is to see a guy like me in Sub-Saharan Africa saying, hey, I need to raise $25 million, and I can promise you that with this money, this company in 5 years or 10 years should be serving uh, uh, 10 million families a week. That's my ambition. My ambition is to build something that's viable, that when you defend it, it is believable.
Mm.
If I end up being rich in the process, I don't know. I've never had a lot of money, so I don't know.
Not your drive.
I've never needed it, so I'd probably, I don't know, do something else with it. But it's not. I couldn't care less about. I slept for 3 years in a merchandise container in Haiti, and those are some of the happiest years of my life because I got to meet incredible people like, I don't know, like the Clintons or Richard Branson. I don't. It's a for-profit vehicle only because I think it's a very good way of contributing to society, a solution that is financially sustainable. Not because I have a personal ambition to be a mogul or anything like that.
And does the number of customers
Yeah.
relate to profitability? Like, could you,
Oh yeah.
with the knowledge you have now, could you be
Yeah.
profitable with 10,000 families?
No.
Okay, so
No.
you need to have a certain scale.
Yes. Correct.
So what is that magic number?
200,000. No. Let's say 150,000.
Customers.
Yes.
Okay, and you're at 25,000 now,
Yes. But
but close to
in January,
profitability.
yeah, in January we were at 3,000.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So we're gonna get there soon. We this year we hacked how to grow almost for free organically. So
Wow.
that's why we're confident that in a year from now, this company is profitable.
So you've tripled the size
Yeah.
in 6 months.
Oh, yeah. And
And
that's
you probably
speaking
have,
of challenges. Yeah.
yeah. And I would imagine that in the favelas, there's a big social interaction between people living there, telling them, hey, we use Nilus, so people
Yeah.
spread word of mouth.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why it's so much of our traffic is organic. And that's why it's so much of our product offering really depends on the service. We are reliable, we're consistent, we are on time, the products are there. We have a metric called on time in full delivery, meaning how many times we screw up in the delivery, and right now it's at below 1%. So
Wow.
yeah, that's been the to me, that's why when you ask what's the challenge, that's the challenge. To only screw up once out of every 100 deliveries in places that are just unwelcoming.
And um, if, let's say you went back and
Yeah.
you got someone to give you 25 million as a nonprofit, so not as a for-profit, would it have been easier,
No, it would have been harder.
harder?
Yeah. Because the the the, the best the best breakthroughs that we've had have come in moments when we were perilously close to dying.
Mm.
Uh, that sense of urgency and survival instinct have been engines of inventiveness and innovation, and and a source of unity for the team. If I had to start all over again, uh, one thing I would not change is living on the edge, because that's when the best out of that's when the best surface.
It brings out the best.
And we rented offices inside the slums. Hmm?
Mm. It brings out the best in you, pushing you to the edge.
Yeah, yeah. For example, we didn't have money for rent at the beginning, so we
Mm.
started renting office space in the very slums we operated. And we didn't know it, but that was giving us incredible insights about the user experience and the value proposition for clients. I would never change a day of those early days. Um, and then and every and then I think it's an endemic problem in organizations when the solution to a problem is to hire more people. No, I wouldn't take a 25 million check from scratch. No, no way.
And the uh, you do you find enough community leaders that are willing to be the bank basically for you, receiving the money, distributing the package, the groceries, and then 4 or 5 days later paying you for that? Because I mean, there's a big risk there, I guess, in a very poor community. If someone's struggling, also, oh, maybe I'll skip paying Ady this week.
Well, it's a great question. First, our community leaders live in the communities we operate.
Yeah.
So any day that is dangerous, it's just another day of life.
Mm.
So our perception of the dangers you're exposed to are just external. Um, I guess that we if we met a guy who's only ridden a horse all his life, he would be terrified to hop on a car or see a city with people
Mm.
driving. And we're not aware of how dangerous it is just because we do it every day. So in the community leaders' minds, the perception of safety is very different from the one uh, uh, you and I have. Second, community leaders who do well pocket around $200 per month in commissions.
Oh,
And you
wow.
need to know, yeah, that in Mexico, the poverty line is at $300 per household. And in Argentina, it's at 250, but maybe more now that the dollar is
Per household, not per
weakening
person.
per household.
Yeah.
So these women, for like, I don't know, 10 hours a week, are getting their family almost there. So normally, when they do have a partner in the house that also brings money, or if they have other activities because it's a part-time job for them, it's very good money. So between the fact that the perception of risk is relative and that the money is good, we don't have a problem recruiting and retaining community leaders. Not at all. That's
And
not
they
the problem
find the
of the many we have
customers,
to solve.
they find the
Hmm?
customers for you, or the customers contact you? I mean, what is the methodology? Is it the customer that signs up with you, or they sign up with the community leader?
No, it's a mixture. We acquire customers directly a lot with TikTok and Instagram and even signs on the community, like we just hang signs. And then they know people too. So we're partners. We collaborate.
And when you're going from 3,000 to
Yeah,
10,000
yeah,
and maybe to 25,000 and then 50,000, that's a lot of more logistics, more trucks bringing
yes,
food
sir.
that you got to break down and bigger
Yes,
warehouses and
yes.
does that create does it create more efficiencies or does it create more complexities?
We're both complexities in the operation, but more efficiencies because the more trucks you move,
The more efficient it becomes. Sorry about that. We have a little bit of a break, pause here. Hopefully they will be back in a second. It's, you're back. If you can repeat about the
I'm sorry,
complexity
what?
and efficiencies.
Yeah. I was saying that it's at the same time more complex and more efficient because the more uh, product we move in a certain area, they lower the overall logistic cost
Mm.
because the trucks are fuller.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. But at the same time, of course, it's more complex. It's logistically more complex, but financially uh, uh, more efficient and healthier.
And you can probably get better deals from your wholesaler or
Yeah, you're right.
distributor. Are you
Yeah.
a threat to the big? I mean, there are supermarkets in Latin America, obviously. There's a lot of big chains. Are you a threat to them?
No, I mean, no. Some people go to the supermarket at on the weekends. Um, to them, yeah, we 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 may be taking business from them in the weekend shopping occasion, but we're mostly building a substitute to the convenience store service. We're competing against the convenience stores in the communities when it comes to the weekly grocery. When they do their day-to-day shopping now.
And would they possibly in the future be like a strategic partner because you're servicing an area that they're not servicing now? Could they be an investor, a strategic partner, whatever, for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan to team up with one of them at some point to share access to supplies and what we do really well is delivering in areas that nobody else does. Us doing it with our own product offering is just by the force of necessity. If there are players bigger than ours that would like to share their purchasing power or allow us to leverage it to offer better prices for our consumers, then by all means, we're here for the mission and only for the mission.
And the consumer, the customer, they order on a phone app?
Yeah,
Okay, so
they
they
do.
choose the products. I want so much fresh fruits or
Yeah.
vegetables or dried goods or liquid things, and that goes to you, and then you process that. And what is the turnaround for that, when someone puts in an order and they receive it?
So we deliver once or twice a week per community. So it's normally 2, 3 days after
Okay.
you place the order.
A few years ago, there was this ridiculous mountain tsunami of money pouring into these 10-minute bicycle delivery services for supermarkets
Yes,
in Europe.
yes,
And most of them don't exist anymore. Most of them are
yes,
gone. And people would order, oh, I'm going to order a can of Coke. A hipster doesn't want to go to the store, so they order a can of
yeah.
Coke on this. And so, and they all thought, well, the model is not the delivery, the model is data. We're going to get data. We're going to get data, and that's going to be our minings. But they raise billions of dollars, and they're all gone. Uh, but they still convince these big investors to put in billions for something that was ridiculous. Doesn't it frustrating you that you are providing a clear, deliverable service that will change people's lives, and you're doing it as a for-profit, and you're growing fast, and people are not knocking at your door. Oh, Ady, you've found the solution for feeding the poor in a for-profit in the favelas.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, so a few things that I don't like. One, the the herd effect of everyone going to the same
Yeah.
industry. Now everybody invests in AI, and then
Mm.
we did blockchain, and before that we did God knows what. That's that's just wrong. You cannot be innovative if unless you bring something that illuminates a spot that nobody was looking at. Uh, to me, the best example of that is Airbnb. Like, who would have thought that sharing space in your home was monetizable? Probably nobody. The same with Uber and space in your car. You monetize on your idle time on your car. Those are counterintuitive ideas. If we all agree that that's where we're going, then it's probably not a very good idea. So I am okay with being a contrarian uh, idea. Like it's part of the game. Um, what I don't appreciate is A, the focus, the way the industry is structured, whereby you need to return your money to the investor in 7 years, 10 years
Mm.
in venture capital. That means that you need to be very careful when you're raising capital from VCs, because if they are in the fifth year of their fund, that means they're gonna in 2 years they're gonna be asking you to exit,
Yeah.
and that's when the incentives are not aligned at all. About people's, like Kundera would say, unbearable lightness. We're not gonna be able to change that. But if there's something I could do about the way the investment community has been operating, is being very careful about how long the investor has in its quest to make money out of your investment. And then the most important part, though, is this: what we're doing isn't about the money. The money is what allows us to, what will allow us very, very soon to begin scaling. How much money I want to make? Well, somebody will judge us one day by how much we pay the executives, or the bonuses, or the uh, dividends and stuff like that. I'm not even thinking about that. But it's really important to us that when investors come to the table, they do it for the same reasons that we started this company, which is a must. Um, we're not going to take our money with us when we die. We're going to look back asking ourselves, so what exactly did we do while we had time on Earth? Um, as long as those are the two priorities, you're welcome in the company. In fact, we still need to raise another 500 to $1 million to reach our path to profitability, but it needs to come from that angle, because that's the angle that you will find in the company's top management. So unless you're able to fire us all, that's
Yeah.
Robert, you there? Ah, you're muted. Okay.
No, I hear the even though a lot of the work that TBLI does is helping emerging managers, startups, fund of funds, etc., raise money. I always tell everybody, even though it's weird because that's our main source of income, is if you can do it without raising money, bootstrapping, do it. Because the amount of effort you have to spend to raise money, research, connect, arrange, meet, convince, keep them happy, etc., and then finally get them out is a lot, which takes away from running the company. People really underestimate that amount of time and effort, and it never goes according to plan. It's always worse or better. If it's better, Donald Trump is a good investor for you. You know, he gets his check regularly, fine. But if it doesn't go according to plan, do they throw you under the bus and say, oh, we got to get rid of Ady? Once we get rid of Ady, everything will fall into place. Even and it's but there are, you know, there's also some great investors. The issue that I always had is the very first thing what a lot of investors ask you is about exit. You know, and I was thinking, you know, how would you like it if somebody came over to your house for dinner and they said, when are we leaving?
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
And you know, so it's
Yeah,
it and there actually there were I know a couple of initiatives that they decided if the company is doing well, why exit? So they created it as a holding, an industrial holding. From that, there would be no management fee, no carry, and they would basically uh, from the portfolio company, they would generate fees. And it would be like a Berkshire Hathaway model. There's one in out of New York, and was one in Germany started by a friend of mine. Um, who is your who is your ideal investor? I mean, how would you describe that person that works best, that this appeals to that type of person, and they also have a bit of a longer term?
that's exactly the type of person. Somebody who wants to put his or her money to work for a cause that he or she believes in. It's the alignment of capital with ethics, and that he or she is willing to work with us and help and actively help. Uh, Contributing money is just the act of uh, supporting the company, the first one, and then on top of that, build a true partnership where we work together. I was invested a ton of money in my career, so without speculating on how soon we're going to leave or how much return is going to uh, give us, it's about what kind of impact we're going to make,
Mm,
and the money is in order to make sure that it is sustainable, that every month in the future we will see, or every year we will see the product of our work return money in a reasonable way. We're not looking for unreasonable returns. It's some experience, the food system or the retail that can add value with connections, with know-how on how to pursue our next opportunity.
would you ever, if you felt someone was willing to write a big check because, oh wow, this is fantastic, this is brilliant, Adi's great,
Yeah,
I like what they're doing, but you had a feeling, oh, I don't think there's a clear alignment of values here, and I think this is going to be problems going forward. Have you ever encountered that where you said, I don't think this is a good fit? even though they
Mhm.
were willing to invest.
Oh yeah, we've turned term sheets down before, even when
Oh,
we were on the brink of dying. Yeah.
okay, good, very good. That's really, really good because
Oh yeah.
if you remember, there was in that period of the last 5 or 7 years, there were two sectors that got lots of money. The 10-minute bicycle delivery for home groceries, most of them don't exist anymore. And then there was online event software. It's like Hopin was an online software company. They had a valuation of $15 billion, just
Wow.
ridiculous. And we went with one that was called Run the World, and it was funded by Andreessen Horowitz and Will Smith, the actor, and a bunch of other people. And I told the woman who started, I became pretty good friends with her. I said, listen, COVID will be over soon, and people will want to travel and that. You're going to have a lot of pressure to
Yeah.
start generating money. I said, no, 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 it's fine. They leave me alone. They're happy with what we're doing. 6 months later, she calls me, quick, download all your data. We have to shut down. And they're giving away the software we're not going to use anywhere. And we're just shutting down. They're just tired of waiting. And that is also one of the issues of taking, venture money because they have to generate a return for their investors who want to see a return and that whole food chain in there. So you're now on a roll where you're scaling really fast. And I'm quite confident you'll do really, really well. It's just careful to take on investors that want to go faster than the music.
Yeah. That's why our current investment round is led by the ELEA Foundation for Ethics in Globalization, a Swiss impact investor
Mhm.
that's just perfect in terms of alignment. And we've got TechnoServe in, like very impact-driven investors. So yeah, it's important to us. We just modified the bylaws of the company to make sure we never change the mission of the company. Uh, we're taking all the precautions. Uh, Look, it's when investors see we're serving low-income communities, like when they're good, they'll know that the returns will be there, but it's unlikely to be. But if they want to speculate on a 1000x return, they might as well just put it in AI. This is for somebody who assigns monetary value
Mm.
to do things that he or she can be proud of because of the contribution it makes to the world. It's another AI agent who schedules your, uh, uh, a nail spa appointment. No, no, that's not a.
How do
I
you
think that's a yeah.
how do you keep your spirits up? Because you've been doing this 5 or 7 years, I think.
Yeah, 7 years. Yeah.
7 years. So there are moments where we all have bad hair days, even if we have hair. So how do you keep your spirits up?
Um, well, every day that we get to do this is another day that has gone by with me living a life that I want to live. So that's good. This is what I want to be doing. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
This is your
Every
big,
day is a day in the mirror, and this is not the day that.
it's your big purpose.
Second, uh, people who've done relevant things haven't had it easy. I don't know anyone. So I also take the grind and the struggle as part of a walk I need to walk. I don't I don't think a painless life is a meaningful one. So I just take it, and as long as I know it's every day I'm doing something that's actually worth it, I don't complain. And then when the night comes, um, I try to distract myself with my family, play music. So it took me a long time. I had too many sleepless nights,
Mm.
too many uh, panic days. Uh, Now it's getting better. Uh, and not because I would be satisfied if we have to shut down. I wouldn't. I would consider it a failure. So I'm focusing more on the process, on living every day a day that's actually worth it. That's all.
And for those that are listening to this and will listen to it in the future, how can we help you?
Well, you have already a lot, um, with introductions to investors who are aligned, to contacts, to your network, which we appreciate very much. Um, and also, you know, we've been clear. We need partners. We need to raise capital. We need to benefit from the know-how of others. We need partners in this fight. We're fighting hunger and global warming are the two worst self-made actually enemies we have. So the cost is big enough for there to be room for everyone whose values are aligned, who puts their money where their mouth is and their time. So join us. You're all welcome.
Ady, thank you so much for taking the time, in spite of some of the technical difficulties. We'll fix that. I'm really very, I know how hard it is. You're at, 10,000. 7 years ago, you were at zero.
Yeah,
So, and three times growth in 6 months, which is quite incredible. And you raised 20 million, meaning that you spoke to many, many times that more people who didn't say yes,
yeah,
uh, or who gave you the impression they would say yes, or the
you bet.
the people who were just trying to suck PowerPoint slides out of your brain because you were a free consultant for them in their eyes.
Yeah,
So you went through a lot of difficulty, and you're nearly there, and you proved a model that you can provide healthy food to the poor at affordable prices and actually make a living doing that and make a living for all of the subcontractors who are distributing the food. So it's
yeah.
only bringing the food and generating a return for your investors. You're creating a whole community of people who make a living. That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
thanks so
So
much.
congratulations on doing that. We'll, as I say, we'll fix up the parts went out. I'll send you a copy, or I'll send you the link of this one.
Yeah,
And if you feel there were too many breaks, we'll just do it again another time. But I think I can cut out the ones that were too much pauses in there to fix that. That's really not a big deal. And
okay.
you're a great inspiration. Thank you so much for doing what you're
No,
doing and
thank you, Robert. Thanks for the opportunity.
staying the
Thank,
course. I know it's not easy. Mazel tov.
thanks so much. Thanks so much. We're working hard on it.
I know. I know. You stay well.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.